What? Yo, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel. I'm delighted to be joined by ex-Hearts, Gretna, Dundee United, St Johnstone, St Mirren, Dunfermline, Carlisle, and Workington player Danny Grainger. Thanks ever so much for taking your time out your busy schedule to talk to me.
No problem at all. Thank you very much for inviting me on. It's a pleasure to come on, and I'm looking forward to having a good chat with you.
No problem. So, what were you like growing up?
I was very lucky. I grew up in a little village just outside of Penrith, little town outside Carlisle. We had I was brought up on a farm along with a lot of friends, and in our village we had our own football pitch, so we were very sport orientated as a community. But I was very lucky. My childhood was fantastic. I had very brilliant and supportive parents that took me all over to play football. And obviously football was a massive part of my life right the way through. But as a youngster, it was even just as important as it is now.
The best advice you've been given?
The best advice I've been given would have to be, it was probably very late in my career. I was given advice of that, not to look at the negatives and always look at the positives. Take negatives as a positive, and things like that. And in that side of it, if you make a mistake, learn from it, but don't dwell on it. And that's something I wish I had at the early part of my career, because I was very critical of myself in the first half of my career. But one of the biggest things I ever got told was is to be take the positives out of everything, whether that's a learning curve after making a mistake, but don't look at it as a negative.
And obviously, what team do you support?
I'm a Carlisle United and a Man United fan, and also obviously a Jambo as well, Darren.
I mean, why not the Mighty High Bees?
No, I only like good teams, Darren. That's the problem.
Hold on, Hibs are a good team. What inspires you?
What inspires me now, or what inspired me when I started?
Both.
What inspired me when I started was just enjoyment. It was a massive thing for me. I absolutely love football. I have early memories of having a kick about with my dad, having a kick about with my friends, and I just loved playing football. And obviously, the older I got obviously better and got picked up and had chances, and I enjoyed being a professional footballer. And the longer my career went on, my inspiration was my family. Family and enjoyment. That's all I ever wanted to do. I wanted to enjoy it. I'm blessed to have a career that I did. And obviously I want to make my family as proud as I could. And that's always been my inspiration. I wear my heart on my sleeve, whichever club I've played for. And it's something that I've always wanted to do, was obviously make my family as proud as I could.
What was it like playing for the Jambos?
You couldn't have picked a better team, really, if we're being honest. The biggest team in Edinburgh.
No.
The best team in Edinburgh.
No.
What I will say is that I was very lucky to play for a club like Hearts. There's big teams in Scotland, in your Celtics, your Rangers, Aberdeens, Hearts, even that other thing on the other side of Edinburgh, Hibs. They're good clubs. There's no doubt about that. They are good clubs. But for me, even before I signed for Hearts, I always wanted to play there because of the atmosphere inside the stadium. I felt it was a stadium that really held the atmosphere, and it was a fiery atmosphere. And even then, I'll never forget my first derby. The atmosphere inside there made me realise why I signed for the Hearts, because it was absolutely electric, and they were the types of games you wanted to play in and be part of. But again, it was a very important part of my career, and times that I'll never ever forget.
First football in memory?
First football in memory is my parents taking me to what was called the Nappy Squad, which was a junior football. It's probably similar to likes of Little Techers now, but it had the nickname of the Nappy Squad. So yeah, that's my first memory that I can always remember going and kicking the ball around and just absolutely loving it.
Best game you've played in?
Scottish Cup final, unfortunately for yourself. Look, there's no hiding it in a massive derby and what it was. to be able to play in that, it was something I was very, very proud of personally, and obviously I know that my family were proud of it as well. So to be involved in any cup final is special, but to be involved in a derby and for it to go the way I wanted it to go and how it did go and pan out, it was very, very special, and it's something that will never be taken away from us.
Because obviously, Hibs and Hearts, it's very rare that we meet in a final.
That was it, yeah. So that, and again, that's what made it an even more special occasion. Now again, you look at it and you probably look on the flip side of it that if we'd have lost that day, which we were never going to do, but if some miracle happened and you beat us, Darren, then that would have probably been one of the worst days of my career. So that's the fine line with it. But no, I mean, it was a special, special day for me. And obviously, another special day for me was the first time I captained my hometown team, Carlisle United. It was something that I'll never forget. The feeling to be able to lead out my hometown team was a very proud moment for me and my family.
Best stadium you've played in?
I would have to say Anfield. As much as it pains me as a Man United fan also, I'd have to say Anfield because, again, the atmosphere inside there, it's not always about numbers. It's not always about having as many people in there as possible. It's the atmosphere. And again, like you see, you talk about big stadiums, you talk about the likes of Man Cities and teams like that maybe don't have that atmosphere the same as Liverpool. And again, that's why I've always loved playing at Hearts. I always felt that there was an atmosphere inside Hearts. It was very close to the pitch. It was intense. So yeah, look, it was. I love playing at Anfield, but yeah, I definitely have to say that as my favourite stadium to play in.
I'm a Liverpool fan, I know.
Oh no, you get worse, Darren. You get worse.
Oh.
Hibs and Liverpool. Come on.
Best player you've played with?
Best player I've played with, I'd probably have to say John McGinn. Obviously, a very, very, very talented player. I was at St Mirren with him, and he's gone on to have the career that he has so far, and hopefully he can carry on having, because he's a fantastic player, fantastic lad. Unfortunately, as I said to him many a times, he played for the wrong side of Edinburgh, but another good lad who I think is going to go on to massive things and keep having a successful career. So yeah, definitely John McGinn.
Because obviously he came to Hibs when I was quite young.
Yeah.
And
he was still very young when I played with him at St Mirren. And I think obviously, if you say the best player that I actually played with, who I felt was the most effective, it would definitely have to be Rudy. As much as obviously that pains you guys to hear, he was effective in everything he done. He was electrifying some days, and he was untouchable, and he could change the game in a split second. So definitely, I mean, John McGinn for the career that he's going to go on and have, and the actual one as we played with him would definitely have to be Rudy Scatchell.
Let's say no more about that. Best player you've played against?
The best player I've played against is Lionel Messi. Obviously, when I was at Dundee United, we were very, very lucky to play against Barcelona, and he played, and he was just absolutely incredible. So yeah, I mean, I've been very lucky that I've been able to play against someone like him. And yeah, but you don't get much better than Messi in my eyes. And
I bet you got skinned.
I did get skinned. He only scored a hat trick that day, so I don't think he had that much of a good day. So, but yeah, he got himself on the score sheet a few times, which I'm taking no blame for him. I'm going to blame the goalkeeper and say he should have saved all three.
Of course you would. Toughest player you've played with?
The toughest player I've played with, probably have to say Lee Wilkie at Dundee United. Big streak he was. You didn't want to get on the wrong side of him. Definitely up there with one of the toughest guys going. He was crazy at times if you got on the wrong side. So yeah, I would definitely have to say Lee Wilkie at Dundee United. Fantastic player, fantastic person, but yeah, you just didn't want to get on the wrong side of him.
Toughest player you've played against?
Toughest player I've played against? Let me have a think. Probably Martin Hardy when I was a young lad playing for Gretna. Martin Hardy was at St Johnstone at the time, And I can just remember him just sticking elbows across my face every time we played, and just getting elbowed in the side of the head as he was walking past me, he would nip you and kick you, and just experience, but very, very tough, very nasty to play against. But then obviously became his teammate later in my career, and again, someone who I got on really well with, and what a fantastic person he was.
Best manager you've played under?
Probably a flip between two. Derek McInnes, when I was at St Johnstone. I love my time with Derek at St Johnstone. I thought he was a fantastic manager, and he's gone on to prove that with what he's done so far. I'm sure he's going to be even more of a success at Aberdeen. And Jim Jeffries, because Jim Jeffries has a massive influence on my career. He took me to Hearts, he took me to Dunfermline. I was at the bottom of the barrel at one point before I went to Dunfermline, and he picked me up. So yeah, definitely them two without a shadow of a doubt for me.
Who were your footballing idols?
Footballing idols when I was growing up was probably Ryan Giggs, as I was a tricky winger back then, believe it or not. With a little bit of pace, I could maybe take somebody on. I lost that all as I got older. But yeah, Ryan Giggs when I was growing up, and a local player called Richard Procas who played for Carlisle United. I ended up playing with McGretna, but them two were my idols when I was growing up.
Worst dresser you've seen?
Worst dressed? Ryan Stevenson, without a shadow of a doubt. The worst dressed person I have ever come across. Now, I watched him last week when Hearts played Queen of the South, and he had the jacket on BBC One or BBC Scotland, I think it was. And that just sums up what Ryan Stevenson's dress wears about. It was absolutely horrendous. But yeah, definitely without a shadow of a doubt, Ryan Stevenson.
Yeah, Ian Black said that, and so did Tim.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me because he was honestly shocking what he wore.
Like I said to Ian Black, I went, did his mum buy him it?
Well, if he bought it, he definitely bought it when he had a blindfold on or something, because some of the stuff that he used to wear was absolutely terrible.
Best dresser you've seen?
Best dressed? I can't really say myself. I probably should, because I was always very smartly dressed, which I think I should.
Sure about
that. Best dressed? That's a good question. That I've never really had that one before. Let me have a think. St Johnstone. I can't really remember many good, well-dressed players. They all had their own little style and things like that. Big Zal always used to come in very well-dressed. Yeah, I'll go Big Zal was always smartly dressed, to be fair.
That was, Zaliukas,
yeah, Big Marius, yeah. So he was one of the best dressed guys.
Best derby that you've played in, other than the Scottish Cup?
No, have to be my first derby. I absolutely love my first derby. It was at Tiny, the one when Beach scored. So yeah, no, it was brilliant. Absolutely love I love Derby Day. Unfortunately, I never got a chance to play in the Derby at Easter Road. I got injured in the lead up to that one, and never got a chance to play. But the ones that I played at Tynecastle, I absolutely loved them. And like I say, they were the best days of the season. Derby days were the days you were looking forward to. But no, definitely my first derby experience. There was flares coming on the pitch from the away end, the Hibs guys, and the atmosphere inside the stadium was just absolutely electric. So yeah, definitely my first ever derby was tremendous.
Best club anthem?
Best club anthem? You're going to think I'm biased here, but I'll have to say the Hearts one. I absolutely loved it when we used to come out to that one. It was fantastic. Even now, when I sit and go back with my son, we have a sing song when it comes on. So yeah, definitely the Hearts anthem for me.
What was it like playing for Gretna, Dundee United, St Johnstone, St Mirren, Dunfermline, Carlisle, and Workington?
Every boy's dream. That's all I ever wanted to do was play football. every single club that I played for had their own little unique, good pros and cons, good things, bad things. But I absolutely loved every single club. I had good times. I made great friends. I made friends for life at every single club. And for me, things like that. I was lucky with Grainger. Obviously, I got to come through all the divisions. Dundee United made great friends and got to play for a fantastic club. St Johnstone, again, played for one of the best managers around and really enjoyed my time there. Dunfermline and St Mirren, coming towards the end of my time in Scotland, were fantastic clubs. Dunfermline really enjoyed it there. St Mirren didn't quite work out for me, but finishing off at my hometown team was obviously always a dream for me, and I got to finish how I wanted to.
Funniest player you've played with?
Stephen Elliott or Andy Driver. The two of them were always on messing about doing stuff. So yeah, definitely one of them two. We had great times together, obviously for a couple of years. I'm still very close with both of them. But yeah, definitely without a shadow of a doubt, would have to be one of them two guys, or even Jamie Devitt when we came down to Carlisle. He was always pulling pranks and things like that. So no, it was always good fun.
Best team talk you've heard?
Probably won't be able to say that one because there wouldn't be many words in there that weren't X-rated. So all I would say is that every manager had their own unique way of getting boys fired up. Some were shouters, some were screamers, some were very quiet and hardly said anything. Others left it to the assistants or players. But no, I mean, I've been lucky that I've worked with some fantastic managers that have gone on and had amazing careers, and I've been lucky enough to take little things from each of them.
What's the top 5 funniest things you have ever done?
That I've ever done? Oh man, you put me on the spot there, Darren. Funniest, I wouldn't say funniest, but me and after the cup final, me and Ryan McGowan went to the Whitburn Club in Dalkeith for a bit of a party there. And Gowser jumped on top of the crowd and in the crowd surfing across them all. So I followed suit and nearly hit the deck. So that was good fun. Trying to think, funny things. Again, it's just little pranks that you do in football where you silly little things, cut people's laces, you hide them in boot bins, you hide behind walls, all these sort of things. So look, I had loads of fun when I was a player. That was the biggest thing for me, that I wanted to play with a smile on my face. And yes, I came across quite angry and things like that at times, but I loved every minute of my playing career.
What's it like to be a manager?
Fantastic. I absolutely love it. I love coaching. I'm lucky I have my own academy that I coach from under 9s right the way through to under 16s. And then obviously I coach over at work and manager there, and I do absolutely love it. I'm hoping that one day I can progress and keep getting better and better. And you never know, one day standing in the technical area of a big club, that's the ideal for me, because when I look at it, I started out as a young apprentice at Grainger. I worked myself through the divisions, and I want to do the same as a manager. I want to learn my trade, I want to get better and better. And then when the time's right, I want to move up the ladder. I make no secret about that, but while I'm at work, I want to be successful, I want to win leagues, and I want to win trophies.
Top 5 best pranks that you've done?
Best 5 pranks? Best 5 pranks. To be honest with you, I wasn't much of a prankster. I was just more of stand by the side and watch everyone else get pranked. One of the best ones we had was Sam Nicholson at Hearts. He decided one day after I'd done my knee injury, he decided that he was going to throw ice at me while I was getting showered. Well, he was just a youth team player at the time. So the next day we got him and strapped him to the medical bed and covered him in head to toe in boot polish. And then we put Vaseline over the top of him so he couldn't wash it off. So he was walking around literally head to toe, boot polish for days. So apart from that, I wasn't really a prankster. I wasn't really someone who went around pranking people. I like jumping out on people and scaring people, but that was probably about my limit, that. And
it still is your limit?
It probably is my limit as well. People will say I've probably got the best banter going, but I don't agree with them, to be honest. I'm quite a quiet lad, you know what I mean, Darren?
I've got another way that you can still play football.
Go on.
Walking football.
Oh, that'll probably be about my pace, I think. Probably people still go past me for pace if I what you call it, if I play walking football. I've lost all my pace that I never had. So, but it's
Never had any pace to start with.
you didn't need any when you only had to play against your mob, though, did you? All I had to do was sit at the back and do what I wanted to do.
No, it's been great to have you. What I'll do is, after I'll talk to you for a wee bit longer, if that's all right.
Yeah, no problem. I've got a meeting in 5 minutes. Well, 6 or 7 minutes, but we can have a crack.
Then no, but cheers for coming on.
Not a problem at all, Darren. I've absolutely loved it.
Cheers.